Can you say old school? This is awesome. Love it. Something else which I heard a lot of people love is a game called Dishonoured. Now, this is where my mate Avery steps in to review it to see if it really stands up to all that positive criticism, I guess you could say, it stands up to.
Hey, Avery Score here with another titillating episode of The Gamer Station. With today we're going to be talking about Dishonoured, a title that surged out of nowhere, surged out of obscurity, exactly in the same way as its protagonist as he jumps out of the shadows to dispatch with numerous guards, zombies, and other miscellaneous baddies. So, the story for Corvo starts off simply enough. He's the bodyguard for the Empress, and he has kind of a weird relationship with the Empress's daughter, who may or may not be his own daughter. Never revealed in the game. Anyhow, the Empress gets assassinated by these crazy assassins that are able to teleport themselves and do all sorts of weird stuff, so he's taken unawares and he's only able to save his own life. Unfortunately, he's framed for the murder of the Empress, dishonored, it's in the title, if you will. And he spends the rest of the game trying to dispatch with the horrible fascists that have taken power, figure out what the heck is going on, and potentially clear his own name. So Corvo is tossed into prison in the first sequences of the game and liberated by the Loyalists, who believe not only in his innocence, but that Emily, the daughter of the Empress, should be rescued and restored to her rightful place on the throne. Unfortunately for Corvo, there are many twists and turns on the way, which will test his allegiances and test his belief in just about everything around him. You have a great deal of power as the player to influence what happens over this world. This world, by the way, resembles kind of a mix between BioShock and Fable, stylistically definitely more on the Fable side, where you have this kind of steampunk, industrial revolution meets magic ethos. Very much that, very much grimy, grim. There's a pestilence running through town, so all sorts of plague rats nipping at your ankles, shamblers coming out of the shadows, and all sorts of nastiness. So it's not a place that you'd like to live, but very much reminiscent of an Albion that you play perhaps in a chaotic evil campaign, to continue the Fable references. The similarities stop there really, because Dishonored has gameplay that's very much its own. You can use several magical abilities such as teleportation, wielded by the assassins earlier in the game. You can actually take possession of a guard and use him to walk through difficult areas, or just take possession of a guard, cause him to walk into the shadows, jump out of his body behind him, and club him into submission. There's several ways you can dispatch with your enemies. One is you've got a crossbow, which has both tranquilizer darts and regular crossbow bolts, and even incendiary bolts for really tough enemies. You've got a pistol, which is kind of an old school affair. It's very pretty, but it takes quite a long time to reload between rounds. And you've also got a big sword. Now, you can choose to use all of those things or none of them. Indeed, you're not required to kill anyone in this game, and you're even encouraged to go through just sort of doing sleeper holds throughout the entire game. If you choose to do so, you'll get a much better ending than you will if you just hack and slash willy-nilly. Indeed, despite the game's choice that it offers you, it really punishes you for playing the game violently. Your compatriots will respond to you as though you're a monster, and Emily herself will transform, emulating you into a horrible tyrant. So you probably don't want that. That's a little disappointing. If there is any weak part of this game, it's the fact that it gives you a choice, then punishes you for making it. But I'll say this, it will encourage you to play this game multiple times. This is one of the few games that you beat and you want to continue playing right away. The campaign's 10 to 12 hour length is a little bit short, but the fact that there's a great deal of replay value here, the gameplay is so fun, will have you jumping right back into the game. So, gameplay aside, how are the visuals? Well, the visuals are simply spectacular. Dishonored uses the Unreal Engine to great effect. The texture work is phenomenal. There's a great deal of artistry and thought that's gone into this. There are obviously some character and environment sketches that must have been just fabulous that preceded the animations and the creation of the environments. And overall, the effect is beautiful, from the lighting to the stylized yet detailed character models. Everything that goes into the presentation of this game is top-notch at what you would expect of a AAA title and franchise. The sound is terrific as well. There's just a little bit of music to set the mood and, you know, alarms going off here and there. What really stands out is the voice acting in multiple languages as well. It's top-notch, it adds a lot of depth to the game, and it really allows you to connect with the characters with whom you interact over the course of the title. I would strongly recommend Dishonored to any fans of stealth games or fans of just action games in general. It's really a standout title. A lot of tremendous work has gone into it, and I think it's going to be the start of a beautiful franchise on the PC, the PS3, and the Xbox 360. Get it on any of those platforms. Get out there, play it, enjoy. I'm Avery, and this was the Gamer Station.
Hello again. This week we are bringing you back to Tokyo Game Show. One of the activities that caught our interest is Asian Esports Cup. We spoke to the organizer to find out more about esports in Asia.
Can you tell us a little bit about AEC? Actually, what do you guys do?
Yeah, so AEC stands for Asia Esports Cup. It's the first international tournament in Japan. It's the biggest tournament ever to be run in this country, and it brings all the gamers from around Asia to compete on 2 game titles, Counter-Strike, StarCraft 2, those 2 game titles, and we play the finals here at Tokyo Game Show, and they play for a very big prize money. I think the winners of Counter-Strike get $20,000 US. It's a very big prize fund.
And it's your first time at Tokyo Game Show, isn't it?
No, actually, we've been here for 3 years, but it's the first time we've run Asia Esports Cup here. Last year we ran just a Japanese tournament on Call of Duty, and the year before that we had an even smaller booth. It was just a one-on-one, very small booth. But this year is a very, very big booth. It's the first time for Asia Esports Cup.
Can you comment a little bit about the gaming culture in terms of esports in Japan and Asia?
Yeah, in Japan, compared to the rest of Asia, it's very young. The industry doesn't have enough momentum yet to get going. But with the support from our sponsors, we're trying to make more events every month. We have a pretty decent following on PlayStation 3 games. For PC games, it's very slow here in Japan, but hopefully we're going to change that.
What is your favorite game, all-time favorite game? And,
Myself?
Yeah, PC game or console.
So I used to be a professional gamer in the United Kingdom, and my favorite game is Quake, which is a fast-paced arena shooting game, and I love that game, but unfortunately it's very old now, so it doesn't get played anymore.
You're from the UK as well?
Yeah.
What is the most popular type of genre of games in the UK, and whether or not online gaming is popular in the UK?
Sure.
Or is it console or Xbox obviously?
In the United Kingdom it's Xbox. It's the same as America. America also has a very big Xbox community. I think because Microsoft is an American company, so it's all localized, it's all English. Whereas in Japan, Sony makes a PlayStation, so PlayStation is very popular here. Xbox is very small. For example, Tokyo Game Show, there's no Microsoft booth here. So that's one thing to remember. But in the UK, yeah, Xbox. The most popular games, I guess, are shooting games. It's a very male industry, so there's a lot of shooting games, yeah. No problem, thank you.
It is the end of the episode, and in fact, it is the end of the season, so we're going to take a 2-week break. But don't worry, this time next week, you'll see some highlights from the season, let's put it that way. In the meantime, big thanks to Namu here for having us all the way in Publica. Find us on Facebook and on Twitter, and of course on YouTube in the meantime. My name is Adam Carruthers. Till next time.